Alright everyone, Mega Man NG here, and it's that time of the week again. We're doing another quick episode review of this week's TMNT. This week we're going to be covering on Revenge of the Triceratons, taking place after the insane crossover awesomeness that was last week's episode. So basically the plot is that the Turtles are still out there looking for the final piece of the black hole generator. At the same time, Donatello feels inferior due to the Fugitoid's high knowledge of not only the ship, but also the universe and transdimensional physics, etc. However, things get a bit hectic when the Triceratons show up, and they want not only a black hole generator, but also the Turtles' destruction. But when things get a bit hectic, it's up to Donatello to save the day. Not much of a summary, but yeah, after the insanity that was last week's episode, I gotta say that this week's episode felt a bit underwhelming. It felt underwhelming because the Turtles got their butts handed to them. And I mean it really bad. It also shows off how dangerous the Triceratons are. It's good to see Mosar again, although he still isn't much of a threat. He is a dangerous threat, mind you. Very dangerous. However, in this case, he was kind of cunning. Cunning to use something like a Skivix virus to destroy their ship from the inside out. Pretty clever, but it made me question how dangerous they'll really be. They'll really be later on because they're going to reappear in episode 13. However, regardless of which, the episode was pretty good. It had some action, but it also added a bit of horror due to the space gremlins. And yes, this whole thing reminds me of the movie The Gremlins. You know, Gremlins, in which there are all these good gremlins and then there are evil gremlins, all just causing havoc at the expense of the human race. It had that vibe, and it was actually kind of scary seeing the space gremlins, and it was just terrifying. And it made me ask myself, did the Turtles forget not to feed them after midnight? I'm being self-aware with this, but yeah, this episode, while not much, was a bit good. It had some good humor, good action, and a bit of horror, and a bit of suspense at the same time. But overall, I feel that this did not accomplish anything in the grand scheme of things because, to be honest, it didn't felt that good of an episode involving the Triceratons. It was just the Turtles and the versus the Triceratons. We've seen it before, and it didn't really accomplish much. All it only accomplished was that the Triceratons now have both pieces of the black hole generator. To make matters worse, the Fugitoid's been acting kind of weird. By episode's end, he's back to normal, but he seems kind of glitchy. Mostly due to the fact that Donatello had to fix him. And speaking of Donatello, this episode centered around him and his insecurities because we all know that Donatello is the brains of the bunch. But sometimes he has this worry that he's not smart enough to solve a situation, like with what they were dealing with here with the Triceratons. Sure, he tried, but it had to get help from the Fugitoid in order to do it. But without the Fugitoid, Donatello felt insecure. He felt kind of weak. He felt like pushed down, but in the end he was able to put his brain to work and was able to save the day. Despite the fact that they did, their victory was rather hollow, because now the hunt is on for the final piece of the black hole generator. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't as good as last week's episode, but on its own, it was alright. And for the rating itself, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 7.5 because the extra 5 points came to the horror suspense stuff with the space gremlins. And it was just terrifying. It was scary. It was also kind of hilarious, too, with one scene with them watching on the TV. And then it was just funny all around. And you'll see what I mean when you see the episode. The episode should be available right now on Nick's website, though you could Google it up and find it yourself if you're lucky enough. So, yeah. Bottom line, this episode gets a 7.5 from me. It's not as bad, but it isn't as great as last week. It felt kind of underwhelming. And the fact that now that the hunt is on for the final piece of the black hole generator, the Turtles need to work extra hard to prevent the Triceratons from getting their hands on it. So I gotta ask everybody, what do you all think of the episode? Was it good? Was it bad? Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. Please be sure to share this video around, because all throughout the month of April, we're going to be getting new episodes of TMNT, and it's going to be good. Next week, yeah, Dreg's coming back, and it's not going to be pretty. All right, that's it. This is Mega Man NG signing off. Peace out, guys. See you next week.